4 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. My name is Laura and welcome to my knit night. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for bearing with me and coming back. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out. I hope you like what you see. It's a lot of babble about knitting and then general stuff. I need to say thank you to you lovelies who have come back when I have had a bit of a break. I had a few weeks off. I know I said I was going to try for every other week and I had lost my knitting mojo like crazy. It had just got up and walked away from me. You have a different view this week. My living room, my kitchen windows are here when normally I'm sat in front of them. I am now looking at them just because there's still a little bit of natural light from outside. I still need the overhead light because it's not quite light enough, but hopefully maybe this is a little better. I don't know. I'm just trying it out so you get to see my kitchen instead. Yeah, I have a few little admin things to go through before we get started. So first of all, I'm over 450 subscribers. I'm over 470 subscribers right now, so thank you. When we get to 500 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. I will dig something out of my very nice stash to give away. So if you're watching and this is your sort of thing, then please hit subscribe so that you will be in with a chance of seeing those future details for that giveaway. A few things have gone on whilst the last few weeks have gone by. One of those is that the Strand into Summer knit along that I was co-hosting with my lovely friend Katie of the Geordie Knits podcast has come to an end, and on Instagram we ended up doing an Instagram live where we drew the winners live, and all of those winners have now been contacted and a few of them have had their prizes. I'm waiting on one address to come back to me, and the rest of them have had their prizes sent out. Katie sent out her prizes, I've sent out 2 of mine and waiting just for one more, which I think might have got back to me. Probably I haven't checked Ravelry, so I might be able to even post that out tomorrow. So that one's all done, and we went straight into our shawl along. So we are hosting a shawl along, so any shawl, as long as it is not a scarf and is a shawl. So even if it's one that people might say is a scarf, if the designer has said it is a shawl, it is a shawl. So a shawl along for anyone who would like to knit a shawl with us over the next, well, not the next 3 months now, but over the 3-month period starting from July the 1st. You have those 3 months to knit a shawl and to enter it in. I will be putting a thread in my Ravelry group as soon as I get myself organised for finished objects, but you can also share your projects on Instagram and on our Facebook group. So me and Katie have a Facebook group where I have been shamefully not very active. I will get back in there, I promise. The group is Knit Along with Geordie Knits and the Lonely Knitter on Facebook, and yeah, request to join if you'd like to be in our little group. It isn't just for the shawl knit along. Katie is hosting her own Cal, the Whip Crack Away Cal, which is a finish up your whips style thing for the rest of the year. I know the sign-ups for that have closed, but a lot of people chit chat in the group about the Whip Crack Away Cal, and it's just a general really lovely place. If you ever need any advice or a little bit of moral support or anything like that at all, the people that, it's mainly women, I'm pretty sure it's mainly women, but you know, the women and all of the members of our group are so friendly and so good, and because we're from all over the world, there is usually someone up and about whatever time you are up and about. So yes, I think that's everything. I'll talk about my knitting, and then I am going to be talking about what's been going on recently in our knitting community and a bit about my personal life. Obviously, if you've watched before, you'll know that I've been having a sort of little meltdown / break. I am pregnant and it is going right. Yeah, I have got a few things that I would like to add or, you know, chuck in my two pennies worth, because, you know, that's what podcasters do. But I'm going to leave that until after my knitting, and then if you would like to listen, then lovely, and if not, then you could go over to Katie, Geordie Knits podcast. Her most recent episode has had quite a few views because she talked about something that she had experienced, or not that she had experienced, but she had witnessed recently at the yarning event. So it might be best if you go to her to see what's gone on there. So I'm going to go into knitting first. Whiz through. I have a finished object. Well, actually, no, I have two finished objects. What's going on? They are in the same yarn. So if I have, like, if I know you and you've had a baby recently, anytime recently, you probably will have been given one of these from me. And if not, I've just talked to you about them. This is the Beloved pattern by Tin Can Knits. I love this pattern so much. It is, I mean, especially for the newborn size, ridiculously quick and amazingly simple instructions and just really easy to follow. And I love it as a new baby gift. I bought this yarn. This is yarn from the Project Bag, and I bought this yarn at the Wool Monty, which is a show I went to earlier in the year, and it's a DK, and the colourway, which again, horrible lighting, head on over to my Instagram page if you would like to see a shot of the two of these in better, awful lighting in fact, in better lighting, there we go, that's a bit more true to colour. But it's fairies in the back row, which is just most, it is, with the light on, that is the colour. It looks incredibly more blue there, but that is the colour. Fairies in the back row, which is just the most adorable colour. I picked it up, I thought I have to have that for a hat for Ellie, my daughter, my 2.5-year-old. Didn't say that. I live in Lowestoft in the east of England with my husband and my 2.5-year-old daughter. Yes, so I have made this for her to wear this winter. She had one last winter and she absolutely loved it, and the minute I cast this off, still had its ends dangling off. She jammed it straight on her head. Actually, it's quite a big size. See, it does come with an adult size. There is another size up, but it's a bit small for me. She has got quite a big head, so. But yeah, I love it. The minute I finished it, she jammed it straight on her head, and she wore it to the antenatal group that I went to on the Wednesday, with the ends trailing, and it was ridiculously hot outside and really sunny. Didn't care, wouldn't take a hat off. And I finished this at like 11 o'clock in the morning on the Wednesday. I'd cast it on the Sunday night, but then I worked a full 8 hours on both Monday, well 9 hours on both Monday and Tuesday, and I have a toddler running around. So I hadn't worked on it very much over those 2 days. So finished this one about 11 something on the Wednesday, and then got back from my antenatal group like 3, cast this on, and you know, I was in the newborn size and I was toddler prepping and you know, getting stuff done and putting my child to bed and loads of little things, and I finished this that evening because it is such a quick knit. And this has absolutely no, there's no information here on the sex of our baby. Still have a few weeks before we're going to find that out, but I can put it in my present drawer to give to the next person I find out is having a girl. There is a couple of women in my antenatal group having girls, or you know, I can keep hold of it, and if we are having a girl, I can keep it for the girl, and if we're not, then I know I've got people I can give this to. But if we did have a girl and they were wearing matching hats, it would be so cute. And this one took me about 50 grams of my 100 gram DK weight gain, and then this one took me about 23 grams, so apparently I would have enough for another newborn one because I have weighed it. The ball, I wound the remainder up into a thumb ball and it just doesn't look like it would make one. But I have learned not to trust myself when it comes to guessing on how much yarn to make anything because I'm rubbish with that. So, but you know that from one skein of DK, 100 grams of DK on the project bag anyway, will get you a child and a newborn size hat with leftovers. So those are my FOs. I have no more FOs. But I've only been knitting again since last Monday night, so this is 1 week of getting back into my knitting. There have been times I have to sit in front of a fan with my hands like this and then knit and then take little breaks because this pregnancy is turning me into a furnace and I am sweating constantly. It is disgusting. TMI, I know, but I'm a sharer. Yes, so I have been managing. I've been sitting by open windows in the evenings. I've been putting ice in every single one of my drinks and holding it like this just to cool my hands down enough to be able to hold the needles without them sliding out of my grip. I hate summer. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I love winter. I love winter. I love cold weather. I love putting a jumper on. I love getting a hot water bottle out. I love being cold and being able to warm myself up. I hate being hot and sweaty and minging and then you turn up smelly by the end of the day. I am overweight. I'm also now pregnant. Like, I don't want to be the fat, hot, smelly woman. Like, ugh. The one with like a definite like moustache sweat. I like winter. Yeah, anyway, so onto whips. Sorry, tangent. Onto whips. I only have one. I picked it up as soon as I was finished with my bonnets and cracked on. I have a hoe. I have a hoe. Do you know, it feels like actually that, like this, it's been forever since I finished a sock. It feels like such a long time. I forgot, like, doesn't help. Definitely do have giant size 7 clompers, so there's a lot of knitting, a lot of going on in this sock length. Like, you know, couldn't take after my mother, had to take after my dad with his big feet. My mother's got tiny size 3 feet, like little tiny lady feet, and there's me with my big man feet. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes a 7.5, a couple of times with more than 8, but socks, I'm a pretty standard size 7, my blockers are a size 7. Just whinging about how big my feet are. So yes, I finished this and then instantly, I finished this one this morning and instantly cast on the second one because I am not getting second sock syndrome with this whip because the yarn is so amazing and there is a different yarn for the heels, cuffs and toes, so I'm not getting bored. And also because this yarn is special. This yarn was gifted to me by a very, very dear friend and I don't want her to think that I don't love it, because I do love it. So this is Dragon Hill Studios. This main skein of self-striping sock yarn, which is amazing in this lovely rainbow pattern. This was gifted to me by my amazing friend Sharon of the SCR1TNO podcast. If you don't watch her, you should, because she's brilliant. And I cast it on to knit at Unravel. I was meeting Sharon at Unravel and she'd sent it to me before that, so I cast it on so I could be knitting it when I met her. Except we walked around and went to the Dragon Hill Studio booth and I showed them my sock and I was like, oh, look at this. I would love a yarn to use for the heels and toes. At which point, the lovely people on the Dragon Hill Studios booth said to me, yes, we do these mini cakes. You can definitely get a coordinating colour, matching colour. And then she says, here's a little box of mini eggs. We will give you this little box of mini eggs. It was like Easter time. If you get all 3 of the coordinating colours that we have in and use them for the heels, toes and cuffs. And I was like, I've already started my cuff in the stripy. She was like, rip it out, girl, rip it out. And I'm easily led, so I ripped it out, and then I just didn't restart it. So yeah, I've got these 3 little mini cakes, and there'll be loads left over because I'm just putting in one heel, one toe, and you know what I mean, I'm just doing one bit of each colour. So they are the same, they match the pink and the blue and the yellow that are in the stripes. And that is the blue. I can't remember what this is called. I'm sure Sharon would know because I've lost the ball band because I'm on a div. And but the minis are strong turquoise, magenta, strong, and yellow, strong. And they are all a sparkle. I don't know if you can see the sparkle, maybe a little bit. Ooh. I don't know if it's showing up, but they're actually quite sparkly. And yeah, so I cast on my second stock, did my pink cuff again because they are going to match. I'm not going to mix up all these colours at all. And I am marching on down the leg. I have quite short legs on my socks because I am not a lover of a really long sock. As previously mentioned, I'm a larger lady. My calves belong to a larger lady. I do not want something that is going to get ridiculously tight here because my leg does not look like my blocker. My leg is more like, you know, this. So yeah, lovely. And I like a short leg. I'm very happy with a short leg, especially with my, just throwing it on the floor, especially with my mammoth foot. Like I've got a giantly long foot, so you know, I don't feel like I need lots of length in the leg as well. And I have no stash enhancement because I haven't really been anywhere to buy anything, and I'm being good. I have an amazing stash with loads of things in, and I need to start using some of it. I was stashing for when I have this baby and go on maternity pay and can't afford to buy all the yarn. And then I realised that really, am I going to be knitting as much as I was previously knitting when I have a toddler and a newborn? And then I thought, I have a lot in my stash right now, a lot to work through. We're looking at possibly putting our house on the market and moving, so I really can't be bringing anything else into the house that needs to be moved. So I'm going to work from stash for a little while. I will show you the bags that I've been using this week because they're gorgeous. The first one is this Socan Jo bag. This bag was gifted to me from the gorgeous Jo of Socan Jo. She has opened an Etsy shop, but it has yet to be stocked. So we're waiting for that, both me and Katie, eagerly, because her bags are amazing. She also sent me a bag for the previous giveaway, and which has now been sent off in the post to the lovely winner. And there's loads of gumph in here. I've got a receipt in here, some chocolate, I think this was left over from Easter, a chapstick, and a fine liner. I'll use this bag as my handbag though, because it has a really sturdy handle, and I'll often have my backpack with all like changing things and stuff like that, but this will have my knitting in, my bullet journal, my purse, my phone, so this bag goes everywhere on my wrist. And then this bag, which has actually been living inside the big Socan Jo bag, is a very cute down Sheepy Lane bag with a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Golden Ticket, Willy Wonka, the illustrations from the Roald Dahl books, which I absolutely love. And this was given to me by my gorgeous friend Mia of the Brambles and Me brand. Mia is the dyer behind Brambles and Me. Her yarn is gorgeous and she is a natural dyer. She uses all natural dye extracts and doesn't have anything artificial in any of her yarns, and it is gorgeous. So go check her out. But she gave me this, and she gave me some of her stash that she wasn't going to be loving on anymore. And yeah, so they're in there. They're tucked. My socks are tucked, living in there, and then this bag is tucked into my big Socan Jo bag. So that's from down Sheepy Lane. So that's everything I've been knitting on, everything to do with it. No stash enhancement. So on to podcasts. I haven't watched that many podcasts, but I have been catching up because I when I was going through my slump, if you've watched my previous episodes recently, you will see that I have been having a bit of a downtime, gone back on antidepressants. I am trying to manage my schedule, my life a little bit better. I'm trying not to have so many low moments. I'm just trying to really work on making my life not feel so chaotic right now. Anxiety can sometimes be a big deal for me, and yeah, I'm trying to just sort everything out slowly. And one of the things that I do when I'm having some time like this is I kind of retreat from everything, my friends, everything. I don't want to be involved in anything at all, and I kind of hide. And so I wasn't watching podcasts, I wasn't going on Instagram, I wasn't going anywhere near any social media, and I was turning into a hermit that didn't knit. So basically I was full on going a bit farmy, because without knitting, that's what happens, just happens. Without craft, I shouldn't say without knitting, because I'm always picking up some craft, but I wasn't doing anything at all. Yeah, I was struggling. So I've gone back to my podcasts, and I have had quite a few to catch up on, and I am slowly working my way through binge watching episodes until I catch up with everyone that I absolutely love, all of the people that I am subscribed to. So first of all, I watched I've watched the last 3 episodes of the Geordie Knits podcast this week. I had 2 episodes that I hadn't watched them on the Monday, and then a new podcast was uploaded on the Monday, but I was at work, so I watched that the next day. No, I watched half of it on my dinner break, and then watched the rest after work actually. Which is the most recent episode, which is the one that has had quite a lot of views, because Katie has really talked about what has been going on in our knitting community recently. Then I went over to the SCR1 TNO podcast, which is my lovely friend Sharon. Sharon is one of those people that is just like a good force in the world. She is so lovely, she is so supportive. She will message me just out of the blue, how are you, let's have a chat. And she keeps secrets very well. She lets me have a bit of a chat about personal things, pregnancy related things, stuff like that, whatever's going on, and just lets me nag and whine. She's been through it all before, so totally gets it. So caught up with all of Sharon's episodes. I had a few of those to go through, and some vlogs, and her vlogs are brilliant. Sharon, I need more vlogs, they are wonderful. Then I went over to the Hairy Sheep, so that is Emma and Rosie. They are my lovely, lovely friends. I'm calling you girls friends now. Even though we haven't met, you are definitely brilliant knitting friends. They are a mother-daughter team, and they do everything. They are crafters extraordinaire. They really do everything. And congratulations guys, because they just hit their 100 subscribers and had a fabulous giveaway. And yeah, then I caught up on all of theirs, and I am now catching up on Sandy by the Lakeside. Love Sandy's podcast, because it's one of the bigger ones, so one of the ones that has lots of subbies, and you know, I watch a range of podcasts. Some of them have very few subscribers, and some of them have quite a lot, and I love them equally. But Sandy is one of those ones. She has the most calming voice. I wish I could have a Sandy voice, or a Sandy attitude, it seems, that comes across in podcasts. Just really chilled out, really calm, and really, like, you know, takes good stock of a situation and sits and has a chat about it. It's lovely. I am much more pull your hair out because nothing's getting done sort of person. So yeah, I'm currently working my way through her little backlog that I have of her episodes, and then I will move on to the rest of my pile of subscribed podcasts, because I watch a lot. I don't sit and watch them so much, they kind of float around along with me, where I'm washing up or tidying up, or little things are going on. What else have I watched? So Instagram, IGTV, if you are interested, Lay Family Yarn, that is the amazing Kelly and her husband and her daughter, but Kelly is the mastermind behind Lay Family Yarn. She is vlogging and putting on Instagram on the IGTV, their move into their shop. They're moving into a studio shop, and they'll be running retreats, and you'll be able to go and visit them. And yeah, she's vlogging it while they're like building stud walls and proper moving in, and it's really interesting. And there's only been one up, I think, so far, or at least one that I've watched, and I'll definitely be going back for more because that's seriously good. Loved it. And then other than that, I've watched a few various things on Netflix, one of which was the new series of Stranger Things, which was epic. I love Stranger Things. In the last few weeks, when I have not been watching anything knitting related because I've been burying my head in the sand and not wanting to talk to anybody, I rewatched the last two series of Stranger Things, and then put the third one on as soon as it was released, and it was epic. I love it. Of course, it's never going to be as good as the first series because the first series was the best, but you know, I still thought it was good. I just enjoyed having the characters back. So yeah, that's all of the things that I've been watching this week. I'll just do a very quick update of what we have done, like what's gone on in our lives. Monday and Tuesday I worked. The few weeks before that I'm not going to try and go back into because I can't remember. Monday and Tuesday I worked. Wednesday I went to my antenatal group with Ellie, and she cried a lot because there was a little girl there who she hadn't met who kept touching her things. And she doesn't like lash out or try and hurt anyone or anything like that, she just cries because she doesn't know this person. She'll share with her friends and people she knows, but like strangers she gets a bit upset about. Thursday, swimming, and she did really well at her swimming lesson this week. Friday, what did we do on Friday? I was out. What was I doing? Chris got home early from work. I went to a singing and dancing class with Ellie and all the other little kiddies, and that was lovely. I did something. It can't have been that important. And then I got home and yeah, Chris got home a little bit early. And Saturday I worked 7 AM till 3:30, which is normal. Every other Saturday I do that, but it was also Chris's birthday. Chris turned 31, and he's old and I'm young. Not there yet. And yeah, we got back. When I got back from work, he opened his presents. He waited. Well, Ellie waited very, very patiently. When I got home from work, she opened his presents. And yeah, he had a nice day. We had our friends over in the evening. And then today is Sunday, and Run Norwich is an event that happens in the city closest to us once a year. It is a 10k run around the city. The city is very hilly, and it is a very hard run. I did not run it this year, but I do know that it is a very hard run because I have run it last year and the year before. We usually run it with our friends. It's usually me and Chris and our friends Tad and Lily, and we don't run it together. Like, we all sign up, we all put the times we expect that we can do, and then we all go and run separately at our own paces because none of us run at the same pace. All three of them are quite fit. I am not quite fit. My aim the first year was just to be able to run it all, not stop. Didn't matter how slow I went, but I wasn't allowed to walk. I had to run, and I did it. And then the next time I did it again, and I beat my time. It was still very slow, but they were all a lot faster than me. But that's fine because it means that they are there, screaming at me over the finish line to give me a sprint in the last bit, and then they all make sure I don't collapse and die at the end. But this year I wasn't going to be doing it. I was fed up after last year because it was so exhausting. I was like, I can't do it again, and it stuck. And Lily didn't want to do it either, so just Tad and Chris were signed up, and then Tad dropped out at the very last minute. So Chris ended up running on his own, but he still did it. It was incredibly hot, and I have a little bit of sunburn. I don't know if you can see, like here and here, just because we were standing out in the streets. And even when he had gone past, and then a couple of our other friends that we knew were running had gone past, we just stood there and screamed for all of the slower runners, because when I have run it the last 2 years, I have been slow and I have been at the back, and sometimes I couldn't see people in front of me or behind me for a little period of time. There was always people there, but sometimes I couldn't see people, and it was incredibly demoralising. And those crowds had already left because most of the runners had gone and they were bored and they'd gone. and the few people that had stayed behind to cheer and clap, and I had my name printed on the number sheet that you have in your front. There were people shouting, there were people still there who were shouting and calling my name and telling me to keep going, and those people gave me energy that I didn't know I had. So my friends and I stood and shouted and screamed for all those other people that didn't have people shouting for them at the end, which was very, very nice to do. It was really fun. It was really fun to do. I took Ellie. She was in the pushchair, and she recently has been a bit funny with loud noises. She never used to be, but recently she has developed this thing with the hoover and the hairdryer and loud noises. And as soon as everyone started cheering and screaming, she started to cry. So I ended up giving her her dummy, putting her back in her pushchair, putting the hood up over her pram, over her pushchair. She wanted her blanket. It's a very thin, like, muslin blanket, but she wanted her blanket. So I covered her all up, and she just totally calmed down and watched. And at one point I did give her my iPad, because I'm one of those bad mums that if my child is distressed, if I know that screen time will calm her down, I'll do it. And so she had a little bit of screen time and then just sat and watched and waved at the runners and had a lovely time. I now have a hoarse voice. This isn't always what I sound like, but it is definitely a little bit funny because I stood for 2 hours and screamed at strangers. But we had a really lovely weekend. Then we went back to our friends and had a barbecue, and lots of our other friends came round, and we all sat in the sun, and along the way I've got a couple of very neat little patches of sunburn. There we go. And it looks like I'm red here, but this is just normal redness. I'm always hot and red. This is different though. Yeah, so that's been our week, and then haha, here I am sitting down to have a chat. I've also worked on a pattern this week. My Road to Perth shawl is nearly done. I will be going to Perth Festival of Yarn in September. I'm incredibly excited. It is our family holiday, and we will be coming up to Scotland and visiting some of my husband's family who live in Dundee, and staying in Perth. I'm going to the gala night on the Saturday night, and seeing some of my wonderful friends. I have a few vendors, especially Kelly from Lay Family Yarn and Mia from Brambles and Me. There are a few people who I speak to online, especially, who I cannot wait to see and squeeze. But I have designed a shawl. I haven't got it here. I don't know why I didn't get it out. I designed it absolutely ages ago, before my horrible anxiety down sweaty funk, and had notes written up on my phone but not the proper pattern. That pattern is now completely written up but on paper, so I just need to type it out. I need to get my tech editor to have a look over, and I will be sending it out to testers if anyone would like to test. So yes, hopefully that will be out and about in the world soon as well, if anyone would be interested. So yeah, I think that's everything for me that's gone on this week. I am now going to chat about stuff that has been going on in our community and my take on a lot of things. I have decided from now on that I actually kind of find it offensive when someone tells me to stick to my knitting. I have had comments before from people telling me to just stick to my knitting. That isn't going to happen, and I'll just put this out here. Knitting is something that gets me through when I am having a bad day. Knitting is something that has picked me up when I've been struggling with work, or struggling with parenting, or struggling with money. If I haven't had money to be able to go out and do things, I'll just pick up my knitting and just, it's fine, I can wait. Money has, not money, knitting has saved me in quite a few situations when I know I would be sitting there doing this and proper panicking if I didn't have my knitting. Creating something has made me feel like I have a purpose, when otherwise I think I would be in utter despair that I had no purpose. Knitting is massively important to me. The knitting community that I have come into since being more active on social media and putting my podcast out has been one of the most important things in my life over the past year and a bit. And it matters a lot to me that that knitting community is a good and healthy place for everyone. So no, I'm not just going to stick to my knitting, because my knitting is part of me. It's part of how I want to be, and it has shaped who I am. So this is my podcast where I talk about the things I want to talk about, and this is my space. So I will talk about all the things relating to knitting and some things that aren't relating to knitting, but these things are relating to knitting. So Instagram, it's a major place where a lot of us knitters hang out and connect. I have made some brilliant friends through there, not least as one called Katie of the Geordie Knits podcast. She is my knitting bestie, has been there for me through a lot of things. We've had a lot of discussions about a lot of difficult things, and she was witness to some events at Yarningham. Let me just put out there that everyone has said at all times that Yarningham dealt with the situation as quickly as possible and in a very efficient manner. This show is in no way to blame for what happened. But before Yarningham, there was a lot of issues stemming from some posts from the Sockmatician, that is Nathan Taylor. I'm sure everyone has read. You can go other places if you want to. I do not have all the facts. I did read some of the posts. I read them after the fact because I was having my little social media hideaway, not really wanting to talk to anyone. But a lot of people were hurt, a lot of people of colour were hurt, a lot of people were hurt on behalf of other people. Some very insensitive and harmful things were said by this man and his husband. Incredibly harmful things. Gaslighting, really ripping people down, things. I was shocked by this when I went online and actually read the things. Didn't really process, walked away again. I think there's a bit of me that was a bit like, wow, I've hidden away from everything online because I just am in my own little bubble right now and can't even cope with saying hello to people. And then when I did come back, I was like, what? I've met this man. What is going on? Let me just point out that not for 1 second am I sitting here and defending. No. I was just completely shocked that anyone would feel that the way they have treated people was like acceptable. Whatever. I'm sure you've all read about them. If you've not, there are a lot of people online who've talked about it in a lot better way than I have. But it was unacceptable. And then he put a post up, his husband put a post up saying that he'd gone into hospital. It was implied that that was down to, well no, it wasn't implied. His husband then told people online that they had made him go to hospital because of their comments and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. It was just their right to reply when they were incredibly offended and hurt by him. Anyway, so after him being in hospital in the middle of the week, he was then at a talk on the Friday and then at the show in Yarningham on the weekend. Whilst he was there, he was approached by a member of our community who is a person of colour, and Katie was witness to everything that went on. And this person tried to speak to him and he flew off the handle. At this person's own admission, she did then, she stands up for herself. She didn't just let a man scream in her face, but he threatening behaviour, and he came at her and had to be pulled back by other people. And haven't really heard anything about him since, to be honest. He came off Instagram and sort of shut everything down. His sister is still selling his yarn and stuff online, there was some big damage done there. Big damage. and no apologies, and no, he wasn't in any way interested in fixing the damage. Fingers crossed, you never know what people are going through. I am not saying that excuses any of it, because it does not. And as someone with mental health difficulties, if I do something or say something, especially whilst I am struggling with my mental health, I would always expect to be pulled up on it if people felt able. I would love people to treat me with a sense of kindness, with a firm hand, and to tell me what they feel I've done wrong so that I can right that situation. However, if I have done something that bad, then I do not expect to be treated with kindness. I expect to be treated as people feel able to treat me. And if I have done something that has really caused damage, I need to know about it. And if that is someone saying, you've made me really angry, this is not acceptable, I need to take that and realise the gravity of the situation. That's how I feel about it anyway. The person who was a total legend for going and not letting him just get away with it and trying to speak to him, has had a lot of pressure and hurt and all sorts of just coming at her since the event, and it's really bad. Like, I just feel like this person deserves to now be able to be said, you know, you've done a good job here, like, by not just letting this lie, you know, saying something. You know, no one should be attacking her or hurting her now. I'm not mentioning her name. If you go online, you would probably be able to find out who it was quite easily, but she doesn't need any more traffic coming from my little corner of the internet, when most of you probably know who it is already. But it's a very brave lady who did something that no one else had. I have made it very clear before on how I feel when it comes to racism in our community. Anyone says that there is not racism in our community is sadly mistaken, and I'm sure we would all wish it could be that way, but at the end of the day, we are all products of a racist society, whatever you may think. And as I believe, as a white woman, that is my responsibility to do my bit to keep on learning, to keep on listening. And I hate those two words now, because everyone says them and it's just like a token. I'm listening and learning, and it's like, oh yeah, babes, oh yeah. But yeah, I do see that it is my responsibility to make this society a better place. And it is not just the people of colour who have already been probably living with, you know, depending on their situation, have been living with all sorts of trauma and abuse throughout their lives. It is on me to make my society a better place for my daughter to live in. So yes, a lot of things keep coming out online, stuff that then makes me go, oh. But you know, we are getting there. Yes, this community isn't as lovey-dovey and wonderful for everyone as, you know, I've said before, oh my gosh, this knitting community is amazing. Some people don't have that experience. Some people do not feel that way. Some people are on the outside and are treated other. And I really, really hope that we are working towards a community where that doesn't happen anymore. And part of that is when you see it happening, when you see people being made to feel other, when you see people being silenced, when you see racism, when you see abuse online, however veiled it may be, you call it out and you say, nah, not in our little corner of the internet, please. And that is what a lot of people have been doing for us online. Really well done, guys. I keep popping up and popping in and seeing things and going, whoa, and I have not been doing enough to support those things. I am annoyed at myself. My mental health has been in the pits, and kind of felt like I came to it late anyway, because I was just buzzed out of everything. That is so my privilege, because there are some people who live with this every single day and who also have mental health problems but can't step away, and I stepped away. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because a lot of other things have already been said. I know I don't have anything to add that's better than what Katie said and what so many others have said online already, and I can just direct you there and say, if you want to hear what happened and the harm that was caused, and you want to help hopefully fix our community and make it better, you know, you can go watch if you'd like to go watch. Anyway, it is now 10:15. I am definitely ready for bed. Work tomorrow, a whole nother week. You never know if I can plough on. Maybe I'll have a finished pair of socks by next week. If I record next week, please don't hold me to it, but I will do my best. I would love to have a finished pair next week to go in my box of socks, which has been sadly lacking this year. It's the first year I've done box of socks and I am already failing. So I'm going to go, and I will speak to you all later. Thank you so much if you have stuck all the way through to 46 minutes. Yes, thank you so much for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.